Hello, welcome pen friends. It's time for my progress report on how my inks and pens and paper and everything is doing for May 2022. We're not quite at the middle of the month yet, but I've had quite a bit of a time with these. Actually, I'm trying out 5 new inks, and there's one that I was already accustomed to. So what I plan to do today is we'll be working in the Unison composition book. I'm going to show you some of my findings in there with each ink. And then I also did longer writing samples in the Bond Travel Gear 68 GSM Tomoe River journal, which I'm excited about because the longer samples on Tomoe River really help me understand. If I have any problem whatsoever on Tomoe River paper, then for any of you who are new, my cat Coco, this is him right here, he gets into mountain climbing mode when I start, and he starts jumping up, and there could be a serious avalanche. So I had to get him down. But anyway, as I was saying, we'll look at both the Unison composition book, which is very much like the CVS Caliber notebook, except that this is a 50-cent notebook sent to me by pen friend Marilyn. And really, this type of paper, made in Vietnam and very inexpensive, is one of my favorite papers, but not all of the ink nib combinations work well on it. And then, of course, Tomoe River is one of definitely my preferred paper, but it's pricey, and I write all the time so much, so I don't use it for everything. So I ended up with 10 pens inked up at this point. And the story is this one came about because I wanted to try Robert Oster Morning Mist in another pen to see how it compared with the Lamy 2000. So I put it in the TWSBI Go. But we'll talk about that as we go along. And I have 3 pens from that are carried over. So that gives me 10 total, but I'm going to clean out the Lamy 2000 because that wasn't a good ink combo. But let's just dive right in. Well, actually first, let me show you. These are the new for this month inks. Actually in order would be Robert Oster Morning Mist. Vinta Makopa is an ink that I'm well familiar with, so we don't need to talk about that as much. So, but anyway, it's one of the ones new for this month. And then Aurora Blue Black, which I'm really loving, by the way. And then Pen BBS 153. Turns out there was more to that name. It's Burning of Bleep House. Last time it took them 3 hours to approve the video with all their checking, and it must have something to do with events. But okay, then Diamine Colt Pan's Little Mo, which is gorgeous. Oh my gosh, I love it. I didn't have the tiles last time, that's why I'm taking time to do this. And then Robert Oster Soft Kitty Warm Kitty. Oh, did that ever turn out to be wonderful. Not only a wonderful name, but a complex ink, dark enough to be readable, and very nice, working out really good. So we'll jump into the notebook. I'll try to keep these in order because I may refer to them again. So this is Unison composition notebook. Now I need a wider angle. Okay, so I did do a page here with the currently inked, just a chart, and I did add on the TWSBI Go at the end. This wasn't planned. I just decided now I need to see this in a nib that I'm used to. And I'm still getting used to the Lamy 2000. Well, if it's not Coco climbing, it's my frog in my throat. So let's get started before we have any more disturbances. Okay, so the first one, Robert Oster Morning Mist. Oops, I've dumped a pen already. And that is in the Lamy 2000. But I will be cleaning it out because I don't like the feel of it. This ink and this nib, I could tolerate it on the Tomoe River paper, but it still isn't as smooth as it should be. I'm remembering how the Pilot ink did in this. So that's part of it. The last fill-up was one of my beautiful Pilot inks. I was looking to see if I could see it real quick. Yeah, I think that I had this one in it. The Pilot Oroshizuku Setsuji. So that was, it's an unfair comparison, I think. Okay. But, so I put not a good nib ink paper combination. Yeah, it was like writing on a chalkboard. I didn't like that. So up here, I did try it out with the TWSBI Go, the sapphire one. So that'll stay inked up. This was much better with this particular nib. So the nib and the ink went together a little better. Still a little dry, but not that bad. So in the Lamy 2000, I gave it a C-. It's too soon for me to tell you what this grade is because I just inked it up. Yesterday? No. What is today? 2 days ago. Okay. So, next up is the Vinta Makopa and the little Moonman. And this is just such a favorite of mine. This gets an A+. This is just really, really smooth, even on this paper. And it's awesome, too, on Tomoe River paper. It's pretty when you add the water brush to it and get it activated. This is what you get, this bright pink. You get a lot of green sheen on your splatters and on your writing when you hold it at an angle and you can really see it. It's hard to show on the camera, though. It's really hard. Coco, no more jumping or you're going to have something on your head. He's really, really tenacious, and he may have to go with manual for a while. So this is definitely one of my favorite combinations. Let's see. I meant to be showing these, too. It's just a beautiful ink. I don't know what I'll do when I run out. Get into some of my other hoarded inks, I guess. Okay, so next up was the Aurora Blue Black, and that is in the Diplomat Magnum. And that's right here. The Prismatic Purple, also known as John Doe, I think. It depends on which market you purchase it from, what it's called. But oh, it's running low? Yeah, that's, oh no, I guess the ink was just sitting down. Huh. It has an ink window, and I thought at first it was running low. So it's office appropriate, it's gorgeous, and it's very flowy, and it works really well on this paper here. So I gave it an A. Whoops. Oh, he likes to do this. Now he's jumped on the back of my chair, and normally then he plops himself behind me to steal the chair, which definitely works because it's not that comfortable to have a cat his size on your chair. Okay, the next one, but we'll see. Maybe he'll just take a nap behind me. The next one is Pen BBS 153, Burning of Bleep House. Yeah, because I really don't want it to be like marked as a terrorist or anything. Next up is, it is in the Lamy Vista. This is really hard to concentrate. He's now like pushing himself down into the chair. Whoops. With a broad nib. This is the Coco show, I guess. And when I originally got this, I thought it referenced 2021 events, so I was kind of nuts. But when I looked it up, I found out it references the burning of the Bleep House in the War of 1812. So I went looking to see where you could purchase Pen BBS ink, and I couldn't, I didn't have enough time to spend right at that moment, and I couldn't find out. I have a feeling, I know there's an Etsy shop where you can buy the pens, and I looked on eBay, but I wasn't finding any, so I'd like to be enlightened if anybody knows. I'm not trying to be lazy, I was doing all my gardening, so I didn't have time to really look into it. But this is a shimmer ink with gold shimmer, and it's gorgeous. It's got so much going for it, especially for the art realm, you know, where you're going to use a little more, and you can end up with that beautiful, well, it's got sheen too. It's got kind of a darker edge to it that's hard to even, it almost looks bronze, and then it's got the gold shimmer. So it's really pretty. And the thing that I want to say about this ink too is that it's really flowy, and I've left it for a few days. I got sick last week. It turned out that Manuel was not having a individual like flare-up of his own when he got really sick. It was some sort of virus, because then 4 days later, I got really sick, and I never do. Anyway, my pen sat for a while. I mean, I had mainly just one really sick, horrific day, and then I recovered the next 2 days really well, but goodness. But this is real flowy, and I like how it, you could see the shimmer particles seem really small, and they're on there. You know, if you hold it at an angle, you can see them. So it compares well to me with J or Bond inks. In fact, it might even be a better shimmer experience. I was, and these inks are from China, and I'm not sure where to buy them. So I'm a little bit in the slow lane, quite a bit right now, on purpose, because if I find out where to buy it, then that might mess my budget up. So, but this is an even and flowy and really nice on this paper and on the Tomoe River paper. And that does it for me. So now he's sitting next to us on the desk. We'll see how long. Oh, he's going to lay down. Okay. It's a good boy. He's got his paw on my... Oh, let's just tilt the camera. He is right there. And he is going to be good, I think. But, okay. Sorry, I don't want to make you seasick, but... he is definitely part of the show today. Okay, so A+, definitely very nice. Next up is a beautiful ink. Diamine Cult Pens Little Mole. Very, very nice. It's that beautiful blue, and you could see it come out when you activate it with a water brush even more. It goes down dark, and yet you could still see it blue on the page, in my opinion, and it's real pretty. It's got red sheen, and it gets an A+. Let's see the pen it's in case you didn't watch the other video. It's in the Jinhao X750 with a broad Goulet nib, and it's a joy to write with this. Really pretty. Gorgeous. And take a look at that. I mean, red sheen. Oh my goodness. Well, red, violet. It's quite interesting. The camera's brightening it up some, but not completely. And I love this. Okay. So we got a lot of really high grades. A+, A+, A+. Well, C-, but that was a mismatched ink nib. And what's next? Okay, and then we have Soft Kitty, Warm Kitty by Robert Oster. And it turns out this is part of their Cozy Comfort series. And thanks to pen friend Kathy, I have samples of these. So I'm kind of putting this all together slowly, and I'm behind the curve and haven't paid attention. But these are Endless Pens exclusive, so really neat. I looked that up yesterday. Yeah, danger alert, right? But I don't need gray ink. It's just that it's gorgeous. It's really pretty. It's a medium ink. It has nice shading. And when we get over on Tomoe River, you'll see that even more. But I could see the shading here. And I'm leaving out the pen. The pen is the Lamy Nex with a Lamy broad nib on it. And that's a very satisfying combination. Very complex, pretty, gray, nice flow, readability. Yeah, I was worried originally about readability for some reason. I shouldn't have been, because it definitely has real good readability. Even on this paper, it lightens inks up sometimes. This paper and CVS and those like it tend to do that. So, I think... Okay, here was the point I wanted to make. Out of all these pens... did I not do a separate one for this? I didn't, did I? No, for the TWSBI Go, which was an add-on, all I did was the second pen notation at the top of the original entry, because I was trying to give it another chance, which is really good. But out of all these combinations, is that everything? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7. Because the other 3 we've talked about, liberally already. Normally one will stand out as just like my absolute favorite, and I'll drain it of the ink before, and have to refill it. But I'm having a kind of a trouble between maybe these two. But then I also love the, how was I going to say it so I didn't trip them up? Burning Bleep House. It's gorgeous as far as this part, like the art part, though, and coming out of a nib, well, it looks like a dark gray or a black, so it isn't as exciting as the Vinta ink. The Makopa is just so exciting coming out, and even the green sheen kind of adds to that. So like, I'm like kind of nuts over these three. And then this is the Aurora in the Magnum is great too. And the Soft Kitty, it's another gray. I'm used to having gray inked up though. This one is sort of just on the line of me being able to manage it being wet enough in the nib. And then I'm going to clean this one out. So as far as, I'm not sure yet. Definitely I spent a long time already with the Vinta Makopa in this pen, and I love it, and I'm not bored of it at all. It's a great note taker for me because I can just write and write with this and know that I'm not going to run it out of ink. It takes approximately, I think, 2.5 to 3 mils to fill it up. And then this one, the blue, is just so gorgeous. It surprised me because I'm not always a fan of the darker blue, but this is bright enough for me. It really is. It's bright enough to really make me happy. Coco, stay there, hon. We're almost done. Okay. All right. So I may have, at some future point, be able to tell you which one is my favorite. I'm now having to hold him off. Okay. He's now stolen my chair, and I don't have to stand up. I went and got another chair, but it's not quite as comfortable as the one I had. Okay, so that's how it worked out in this notebook. And let's hop in and look at the Tomoe River longer writing samples real quick. So here we are. Oh, and before we begin, the writing samples are all taken out of Practicing the Power of Now. This is extracted meditations and material all from The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. And it is my favorite book versus the larger one because this is a more condensed. This is what I want when I want to meditate or, you know, and I went straight to Chapter 2, The Origin of Fear. So everything is from that. When you start reading, if you see it and read it, and that's what it's from. It's a short chapter. I almost got the whole thing out of it. So, okay, so here we go. I'm excited because this is almost finished. It's not long at all before it finishes. And I think I've already cracked the spine in it, but I've done a few things to this notebook. I've had it a while. Okay, so I've not put the final grades here yet because I'm waiting to see if they stay. I think they will. So here we go. Starting out with the first one. Yeah, Lamy 2000 with Robert Oster Morning Mist. It was certainly better on this paper, but I could just feel the, how would you describe that? Not drag or anything, but it's not as wet as it should be. It's not as smooth of a writing experience as it should be, that's all. Better on the Tomoe River, but still dry compared with other inks I've had in the pen. So there you have it. It's getting spoiled maybe with a different, you know, with what the pen prefers, I guess. Okay, so next up, these are all scrambled. The Vinta Makopa in the little Moonman. This is just excellent. And you can, I think this should show you how pretty that is in a longer writing sample. The top part was heavier on the sheen when you first start writing, but it's just gorgeous. I mean, to me, I don't care which I get, the green sheen or just the beautiful magenta coming out. And it just, you can see I even wrote longer with it. It's just excellent. Just really, really nice. I hope this helps. You can see that the color holds up so well. It doesn't like fade out or get gone. So then over here is Diplomat Magnum with Aurora Blue Black. I love this ink. It's just a sample and it's pretty much gone. I mean, once I finish this fill and then just a tiny bit more in the, I'll be cleaning that out, but I will have the memory of it. This is a very good ink for me because you know how I love the super wet inks. And yeah, it's a joy to write with, smooth, consistent, maintains a good color. I really like that. Very nice. Okay, and then next up is the Lamy Vista with the Burning of the Bleep House. yeah, this is pretty too. I'm not sure you're going to get to see as much shimmer though. In this particular sample, I'm not seeing much shimmer, which makes me wonder whether I just started writing. Normally, I do agitate the pen to make sure that I get all that nice shimmery stuff going on. But there's no telling with me. There's just no telling. On the other paper, I was seeing more shimmer. Very interesting. Huh. This is smoother paper, but still. And this was really nice. It reminds me of the quality-wise of J.R. Bond. And that's a lot to say about a Chinese ink. And yeah, it's awesome. Very good. It's just like, wow. Okay, and then next up, oh yes, this is the Genhao X750. I think they call this marble, blue marble, with Diamine Cult Pen's Little Mo. Yeah, this was, I know many people have told me how wonderful it is to order from Cult Pens, and I see the price and it's like, wow. And it even now says it puts the prices in your own currency. And I'm like, wow, I've never paid that little bit for 30 mil. So, but you'd need to make it worth it with the shipping. So I've never ordered from Cult Pens yet, but they have such amazing stuff. This is just a joy. It's, I don't even know how to explain it. It's just an awesome flow. And it's such a thick ink. Let's see. Oh, I don't have it right here. It's the kind of ink that when you toss it around in oh, let me go get it. Okay, so here's the vial, and you could see how you can see the clear of the vial at the top there, hopefully. But this is the kind of ink where when you do this, and then you let it settle back down, it still looks like it's completely, like it sticks to the side of the vial. Of course, it goes down eventually, but it's that kind of ink. I think I'm talking to you, Marilyn. Marilyn Darling Show. Because I don't know that everybody likes this thick of an ink, but I found that it was just flowing so well. Like, so it didn't bother me at all. It wasn't chalky. It wasn't, of course, that's a broad nib too. A really nice Goulet broad nib on this Genhao. So that's part of it. And this is excellent paper. But if you remember, it was just as good on this paper. Well, of course, I don't have a longer writing sample, but I've been using it. I've been using it for letters. I've used some CVS caliber, and it's been really good. So, okay, moving on. The next one is the Soft Kitty, Warm Kitty. Let's see. That's your ink, Coco. I'm having like a complete, oh, here it is. In the Lamy Next. And this too was great. Not a hint of dryness in this nib with this ink. And I got a lot of shading. I did it did drop down after, writing for a little bit. It might have lightened just slightly, but I'm a fast writer. So you can't go by that really, because I write faster than I should. I'm going to hold that up to see whether we can show the shading. It's just, to me, it's really nice. And for a gray ink, too, to shade that way. It's very, very pretty. I love the ink. Yeah, it's a tempting ink, even though there's just no way. I have to get all my gray ink bottles and line them up in front of me to have that reality check, because yes, it's beautiful and I love it, but oh, the fountain pen ink and pen bug or virus is real. So, okay, next up, okay, I did both pens with Robert Oster Morning Mist. So we have here, at this half, we'll just move that over, we have the Lamy 2000, and then we have the TWSBI Go here. Now, it's better in the TWSBI Go. There's better flow on both papers, but it's still not the very optimal. And I know I'm picky about ink flow. I like a fire hose feel. And I can get that if I just put, the right ink in the Lamy 2000. I could definitely get that because it's a wet nib. But I don't know. I think, yes, I can see by looking in. You can see that you're getting a darker in the TWSBI Go. So that's one of the first lessons I learned, really, was that a more expensive pen doesn't always result in, you know, a better looking or feeling experience, but it can if you are selective about your ink and you go and experiment and try. So I'm not knocking this pen. I love this pen. It's I'm getting used to the grip, and I am going to get used to what really it likes for its ink. So I think that's pretty much it for this. It's going well, except that I'm very far behind on my writing, my pen pal letters. So it's at the embarrassing point now, and if I owe you a letter, I am sorry. And I'm gonna get there. Believe me, the weather's gonna help too, because it's just so hot that starting to be anyway, that I'm sure I'm going to be at my desk even more, and I'm going to be catching up. But I don't think I've ever gotten this far behind. I really haven't. So, okay, I'll be putting these all back in except for the Lamy 2000 will be, I have the little, the little rickshaw cushion for that, which I finally got to where I realized as long as I put something over it so Coco can't see it, he hasn't gotten after it again. But I found it on the floor that he used it like a little beanie toy, so I was really, it was lucky it held up and it didn't get ruined. So I'll leave you with that, and thank you very much for watching, and we will talk again soon. And oh my, the camera's crooked. I will see you next time, and I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Bye for now.